What's going on, tubes? 03 Saturn fan here with probably the biggest update of my channel. Both of you, excuse me, as all of you know, both of my 03 Ion quad coupes came equipped with GM's VTi or their what they call their that's what they call their continuously variable transmission. So this is about the Ion 3. It sits right now about 199,425 miles, I think. February 12th, CVT started acting funny. It didn't want to go on the drive, or take a long time to go on a drive. 30 upwards of 45 seconds. Sometimes you have to give it a little gas to get to go into drive. So, I dealt with it for a little while, and like we did with this car, we replaced the valve body in the Ion 2. Did it in this one. So gone to the junkyard, found a valve body, got it and put it in, and the car just acted stupid. It went into gear, but it just was acting stupid. So took it back out and did some move around of parts on the valve body, the pressure control parts, put it back in, and it did fine at first, go into gear, but then it got to where it would take its time going into gear. Heard a whine from the transmission. I said, okay, you know what, never mind, I'm just gonna go buy a new valve body. So I went to Rock Auto and bought a new valve body, like $200 or $207 after GM's rebate, and then you get to return the core and it takes another $50 off, so $150 for a new valve body. Did that. Drove great on my way to and from work. A week ago this Friday. This Friday just passed, a week prior to that. Drove great coming to and from work. Well, we had to take it back. I took it back out and went to Dollar General. Needed to get something, and it acted a little funny. Headed that way, or headed up to the Dollar General, like 10 minutes away. It wasn't ratioing up like it was supposed to, or like I thought it was supposed to. New valve body, trying to get seated in, whatever. Got Dollar General without any hiccups. Got on the interstate to come back home, because we're where I live at, we can either take the interstate, it's about the same either way, same distance. So I got on the interstate to head home, and got up to 70, and usually at 7 mile an hour it's tacking like 2,000 RPM. Well, it was tacking 3. There's a bit of an incline, and it's really not much, and then started doing like the Nissans do when they're overheating. Had no power, like 5,000 RPM, only able to do 35 mile an hour. So at that point, yes, it's running and driving perfectly fine now. At that point, we decided to go to the junkyard in Charlotte, pull apart, and pull the transmission mounts, the cooling, the transmission cooler lines, torque converter, transmission, and complete wiring harness for the engine bay from a 2003 to 2004 Ion sedan. So this has been converted to the AF23-5 Ice and Warner 5-speed automatic. And there it is. There's the computer, there's the vent. So it took us 3 days to convert it. That's still while working a full-time job. So my dad had 3 days to convert it. It's pretty straightforward. Which the hardest thing was probably the wiring harness. You had to remember everything went and so on and so forth. But I have put over 200 miles on it. I drove it for the first time, I think Tuesday evening after we got it filled with fluid. And I drove it Tuesday, Wednesday this week to work, and I drove it yesterday. Had its good to beat. Car it came out of, ran a Carfax on it, only had 150,000 miles on it. It was in the junkyard because the timing chain jumped time a lot, and put all the part numbers in the pan. All 16 valves were destroyed. The 32 or how many roller rockers were destroyed. Pistons had holes through the top of them. So that car was in there for the engine. So yeah, as far as the swap, God forbid ever have the CVT act up in my Ion 2, I'll be converting it to the AF23-5 out of the sedan. You can go to the Saturn Fans website. I think it's called Saturn Holla or Saturn, I forget how they call it. That's where I found it at, as far as what you need to convert it. It cost me, parts from the junkyard, everything, less than $300 for the parts. Now, I didn't have an engine hoist. I didn't have a few other little things. So by the time everything was said and done, it was right around $800 or $900. That's tools, everything, fluid, everything. If you want to do this yourself, what you'll need is the AF23-5 transmission out of a 03 to 04 sedan, the wiring harness for the engine bay from the 03 to 04 sedan, the transmission cooler lines, the torque converter, the shift cable that goes from inside the car to the transmission, the passenger side axle. I think that's pretty much it. I will have a link in the description to the list on the Saturn Fans website. After having driven both the CVT and the 5-speed automatic, love both transmissions, love the way they both drive. So yeah, I'm planning on taking apart the CVT that came out of the Ion 3. Belt's fine. I think it was something with the clutches or the pump inside, because the pump made a god-awful noise when it was cold, especially, and then eventually when it was warmer outside. So I might try and do a video of disassembly. I'm not sure yet. I'd like to. So yeah, but that is the biggest update. I hadn't posted a video in a while. Just been real busy, and then with the transmission stuff with the Ion 3 and fixing it, just hadn't had time. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.